Previously, in part 1 of episode 1, You Are My Twin Flame.
I was just punishing you over and over and over again for that just being your truth. And so when you would do things that weren't okay, I was upset at those things, and I'm upset because you're a fucking hoe. In my mind, in the back of my head, like that's how I was feeling though.
Yeah.
It's like, and you're a hoe. But I didn't know that, and I wasn't consciously thinking that way. It's my subconscious. I never once consciously viewed you in that way, but it was the programming of what is there in society. And I know there's a lot. I know, but I really think that this can help people from hearing that from me. That it's ridiculous. It's so stupid.
I think that was a lot. I didn't expect us to go here. I think I'm not ashamed of my sexual past. There's nothing that nobody in any comments could ever tell me. There's nothing that you could tell me that would make me ashamed of my choices. I don't deem myself as whatever for whomever I've been with. But I do have regrets. And those regrets are, I was so lost. Like, I lost both my parents so young. I was 10 when I lost my father. And I was 19 when I lost my mother. And I used sex as a way to gain control. Like, my mom had cancer. She had terrible cancer. She had fungating ulcerative tumors, which basically means her tumors were like inside out of her body. She had breast cancer. And that was something I had to deal with every day from 16 to 19. So sex was the only thing I can control. I can control who I can have sex with. I can control how much pleasure I can have. And for however long, how many hours in the night, this is the one thing I can do. I can't control if my mom dies. I can't control if she suffers. I can't control how much pain she's in. But this I can control. And that's what sex was for me for a few years. And that's where I just racked up my body count. And when I look at myself, I don't get angry at her because she was just trying to be okay because she was losing her mom. You know, and I'm not trying to make it seem like, oh, it's okay to be a hoe if your mom's dying. But like, that's what it was for me. You know, like, most people don't know what it's like to not have a father when you're 10 years old and then to watch your mom die 6 years later, like start dying 6 years later for 3 years. It's a lot. So sex for me was a means of control. And I will never be ashamed of that. I will never apologize for that. And my only regret is I wish I knew better, because I wouldn't have. I wish I knew that I can find control, that I can have control, that I can have ease, that I can have pleasure in healthier ways. And that's another reason why I'm so passionate about this work, about teaching people to really connect with their divine feminine, to connect with their needs, their pleasures, because you can have all that you really need and be fulfilled without going anywhere outside of yourself. But it took me a lifetime to learn that. It took me, again, both my parents passed when I was still a teenager. I had to raise myself to even get there, to even be capable to be at the point where I can even be with a man like you. So it was a lot. And I really do understand the turmoil you felt, because I lived it.
And I think that was the shittiest part for me. And, you know, I'm learning these things about you. I'm learning about your life and your family and your loss. And, you know, conceptually, I understand, you know, like a girl needs her father, and like, you know, girls who have daddy issues and all that. Yeah, okay. Like, when you're really with somebody who has daddy issues, you know, and you find out how that can emerge in their lives, And like, I knew these things, and yet it still hurt me so bad. Why does this hurt me? I have my parents. You know what I'm saying? Why does this hurt me so bad? Something as small as this in the grand scheme of things. Why does this hurt me so bad? So then I kept on asking him, like, why? This is like, we're 2 years in now. Why is this still lingering?
And I felt it.
It's still lingering. You clearly passed my tests of like, do I want to be with you or not? You passed that a long time ago. We're good. Why is it still lingering? So I had to really keep asking why, and then continuing to ask. It forced me to go deeper and realize, oh, this is not about you. My judgment of you is a reflection of me. And I had to go back to, well, why? What is it really that makes me feel like this? And when I finally got to the root of it all, it was me actually being jealous in the sexual experiences that you had early in life around the ages where I wish I was more sexually active. And in those years, it was cool. I was doing my thing, but not in the way that I really wanted. But you was doing your thing in the way that I wanted at that time. And I didn't have that yet. So I was jealous. When it came down to it, I was jealous because I feel that if I was as sexually active and was having that level of experience at that time, I wouldn't have really felt no kind of way. I would have felt the kind of way still because all the societal bullshit that men feel about women who are sexually liberated in that way, I would have still felt that. It wouldn't have lingered as long as it did. Yeah. It wouldn't have lingered as long as it did. But the bottom line is, I'm approving of all the things that you did. I either have done them or I have wanted to do them. And for whatever reason, it didn't happen. So why am I upset? I approve of all your shit. I like it. It turns me on. I'm with it. Yeah. I'm with it. But I didn't have those experiences, or it's not okay for women to have those experiences. And by forcing myself to go that deep and that real and be able to turn it on myself and realize this is about me and how I feel about myself, I was able to free myself and celebrate you for being able to find that for yourself. Though you've had your own challenges along the way, and I'm sure you would have chosen to do some things different, some things the same. But at the end of the day, you chose that and you were able to make that choice for your life. Yeah. And so, in being able to shift, finally, it really brought me a lot of peace. And I really see how you're my twin flame and how you're me. You're me. You're that younger version of me. You're that other side of me that was actually able to do those things. I'm able to see it outside of myself. It just so happens to be in my woman. And not like my future son down the line. This is my woman. So that was a hard one to swallow, but I just really feel like, and now, if for nothing else, if people can get something out of that, then it was all worth it. Because that was a hard lesson for me to learn. So if y'all can get anything out of that, please take that with you, especially the dudes out there. We got to start letting this shit go. Because you could fuck around and really lose out on a good woman having this bullshit in your mind as to the standards that we hold women to. We are people. And people love sex. And we should be able to experience sex in a healthy way. And I think as long as you have a good mind and you know what you're doing going into it and you have control over it and you're making decisions purely based on what you truly desire and not allowing people to control and manipulate you, then it should be all good. As long as you are consenting to do these things and you're just minding your fucking business and living your life, nobody else should be minding your shit for you. So fellas, I encourage you, let's please start dropping this shit that only men can be out here slinging dick and catching 50,000 bodies and be celebrated. It just doesn't matter. Let's just drop this shit. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. So that's all I have to say about that.
And the funny part is that was only the beginning of our turmoil.
Right.
I didn't even get through all the bullet points.
Right.
Because the other part of it is a twin flame triggers your traumas. And for you, that was yours. My turmoil didn't even begin then. It began with having to see my flaws and see that my way of communicating, my way of arguing, my way of disagreeing was unhealthy. And we talked about that a bit earlier. But it went into, which is the next bullet, consistent arguing. We were just not able to communicate in an effective way. We're not able to fairly fight and disagree. And that really, it felt heavier because we had this DS dynamic. So it's like, I'm supposed to fall in line, but like, I can't agree with you. Like, I just don't understand how I'm supposed to just submit to this. But I wanted to, but it's just like, I couldn't. So it was like this desire of, I want to be this thing. I want to be this submissive thing in this relationship. I like the idea of it. I like the way it can pan out. I've witnessed how we can do it, and I enjoy it, and I love it, and I feel safe in it. And this argument comes up, and it's like this other thing that's like, don't let him win. Why is he blaming you? It's just like this thing that was just like a monkey on my back that I could not let go of. And that just bred so many traumas, me not being able to let that go. And like you said earlier, I think you took that on as there's something inherently wrong with you. Like, what is wrong with you that I can't submit to you? And it wasn't that. It wasn't that at all.
Yeah, no, that was the underlying question I have all the time. And because it was still new, like I knew I had dominant energy, but I was figuring out what to do with this dominant energy, and I was figuring out how to make it work within a fully thriving and operational relationship that I'm in. This is not playtime all the time. This is for real. I'm trying to do this with you for life. Yeah. So it really made me question that. So imagine that. So we're struggling with that, just getting our power dynamics and our leadership and following, just our ground level in that together. And in the back of my mind, I have all this nonsense that doesn't even mean anything.
Yeah.
I'm not even giving you the opportunity to work through your things freely.
And I felt like I was always failing. I just felt like I was constantly failing. I woke up like, oh, I'm gonna fail today. And that's what it just constantly felt like for years of just, and we've only been together 3. So it's just like for a majority of our relationship, it was just like, I'm going to fail him today. Yeah. And that constant feeling and that constant reminder was rough.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was just a vicious cycle of just ongoing, because you were feeling that you weren't getting any better. So I got more shit to complain about because I'm not seeing change. I'm reaffirming the lack of ability within you is not making you feel like you can do anything. And I felt that. I'm about to complain and tell her what she's doing wrong, and it's going to make her feel less confident in her ability to get it right. And you're still doing it wrong, and I'm frustrated, and I need you to know that. Though I want to fix it, but I need you to know that because this is not okay. And we were just in this loop-de-loop
and
for
then
mad
we had
long.
the audacity to start a fucking podcast.
And then we started this shit. God dang, that's some crazy shit.
And it's funny because it's like the love is there, the passion is there, the sex is there, the lessons are there, but it's like, God damn, like we just didn't know.
Why did you start it?
The pod?
Why did you start it in the midst of all of that going on?
Because I knew I could grow. I knew that I'd figure it out. And I knew you loved me enough to wait till I did. And I knew you'd figure it out. And we're still figuring it out right now. It's not figured out. We're still figuring it out. But I knew that our love transcended that phase.
Yeah.
And I would say in my head, like, this is temporary.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to figure it out. I don't know when. It better be soon.
Yeah.
I don't know how. It better be quick.
Yeah.
But we'll figure it out. So that's why. And I knew that what I wanted this platform to be, I knew what I wanted for myself, what I wanted for you, what I wanted for us. And it was too beautiful to not.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel a lot of the same. I was still just trusting that inner voice and my deep connection to you to keep me going. And I had the vision for this already. So when you came into the picture and there was so many things that lined up and there was so many things that made sense, and you were my equal when it came to sex, like, you understood me. You understood all my kinks. You experienced them. So again, to see that mirror reflect back to me, literally the female, but for that mirror to reflect back to me, literally the female version of myself, it was like, oh, this is for the pod. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time. It's her. It was like, yes, it's her. It was clear. It's her. I can't do this with nobody else. If we were to break up tomorrow and I want to continue, it dies here. I can't do it with nobody because it was supposed to be us. It's like that.
Yeah.
And so I knew, even through all the challenges, like, nah, it's her. And I think if we just do this, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
I think this will be kind of fire, actually.
It's kind of fire.
And then next thing you know, we put out an episode or two. Shit's kind of fire.
It's kind of fire.
We're getting a few followers. People are downloading. And then next thing you know, people are sharing that it's helping them. And I think that initially my goal was like, if just in a year from now, from doing these episodes, if just one person could share that they got something out of this, I would feel fulfilled. And how many people? So many people.
Yeah.
So many people have gotten something out of this. And I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful for that. I feel so fulfilled in that we're bringing purpose-driven work here. And now, we season 2 now. We going in, y'all. We going in this year. And we fired up about that.
Yeah. So I'm going to go to our next phase. The next stage is the runner chaser phase. This is a key role in spiritual development. One will feel the desire to leave or neglect the relationship because there's traumas or triggers are stopping them from surrendering fully into the love. It emerges naturally when the universe perceives that you need space from one another to heal. Most couples don't last past this stage in a single lifetime. The chaser has an easier time staying or chasing because they are more spiritually awakened, and the runner chaser can switch roles over time.
Yeah, I would definitely say that you were the chaser and I was the runner.
I'd say the opposite. That's
Really?
So funny you say that.
When was I chasing, do you think?
You answer first.
I don't think I was chasing. I feel like after that one really bad argument, you know the one I'm talking about. After that one, I was tapped out. I had nothing left. I had no hope left. I had no more answers. I had no more ideas. I had no more energy. I had nothing left. I was just a meat bag moving around, hoping somehow some shit happens.
Yeah.
I had nothing left. I didn't know.
I shut down too.
I
shut down too. And I think that's actually when it first switched. But I think I do believe I was the runner initially. And I was running from having to, I don't want to say grow, but I think face my truth. And because in facing my truth, it's like facing my flaws and having to fix it. And that's just a lot. And I felt like I was running from that. So it manifested into the arguments. It manifested into the disagreements. And in those disagreements, I would literally want to run. I would say, like, I want to go home. Or I would just, like, pack my stuff and be like, all right, I'm out. Like, I would physically run. But I think after that argument, it definitely switched.
To what?
Where you were the runner, and I was just constantly chasing you around.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, we're actually in love. Like, don't forget.
Yeah, because if you didn't keep trying, yeah, I wouldn't have had enough to try when somebody had to try.
Yeah.
And like, cause I remember in arguments after that, that's when you started whipping out exercises and things for us to do and like trying to stop us in the midst of argument. Like, no, let's do this. And I hated it. It felt stupid. I hated this. What are we talking about? Why are you bringing out worksheets and shit? I just want to fucking argue and go on my day and leave you alone. But I saw you cared that much. Or we'll argue, then we'll go our separate ways, and then all of a sudden you'll just pop out of the room.
You never apologize first.
Never.
You never apologize
I'm
first.
still working on that.
I'm so grateful that
still
you
working on
acknowledge. It's a lot easier for me when you first acknowledged it. And I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. Like, this nigga don't apologize first. Cool. As long as they're both on the same page. So when the times comes, I'm like, let me just put on my backpack of apologies. Because I already know what time it is.
I'm still working on that.
And that's okay.
I'm working on that. But that's why we have our roles. That's why we need each other. Because, yes, if it wasn't for that, we'd be assed out a lot. Because I damn sure was not about to do it first. It got to the point where like we would argue over the phone, and in no way am I trying to abuse it in any way, but I started seeing the cycle where we'll argue, then we'll get off the phone, and then you'll always call me back to talk through it, to the point where we'll argue and I'll be done, and then 30 minutes will go past, 40 minutes go past, we off the phone. I'm like, she probably gonna call me back. And then sure enough, you'll call me back. But I genuinely appreciated that because I know I couldn't muster up enough maturity to call your ass back. So I needed that. Yeah. And again, it just kept showing me how much you cared. And it continued to make me want to care and figure it out. Because I knew I had somebody who's really ride or die, who really is in it for the long haul with me.
Thank you for saying that. Because I felt stupid calling your ass back. God damn, again?
No, it was so cute and loving, and it was great.
But this phase ends up happening, the runner chaser phase. It happens because we're not ripe yet. It's like we're not mature enough to do something as simple as call back. We're not mature enough to realize like, okay, I shouldn't have such a sharp tongue. Like there's a way to say things. There's a way to get through him. And there's not only just a baseline level of how you communicate with another human, but this person has communicated what his expectations and boundaries are, and I'm crossing those. So it's like those turmoils happen because you're not even mature enough to admit those things. So you're not ripe yet. So there ends up being so much extra stress. There's so much overwork that we have to do. There's lifestyle habits that we have to shift. And those habits, just for me, habitual habits of poor ways of communicating when I'm angry or when I disagree or when I'm uncomfortable. And for you, I think it was, not to speak for you, but I think it was just your toxic relationship and the cycle that you had. I think you anticipated certain things from me that weren't me at all. It was your last relationship. Yeah. And then having to deal with that bitch, having to deal with like, oh, okay, like I have to pay for her mistakes on top of the many, like I can't even make mistakes here because she made so many.
Yeah, my defenses were up
all the time.
A lot. I was prepared. Always ready to go to war because I was accustomed to that from before, and that wasn't fair to you. I wasn't able to always come with a clean slate. Yeah, I was coming with that baggage, and also just in kind of the being worn down by arguments. Because again, I be chilling. I don't be arguing with people in my life. I'm not a combative person. Conflict is not something that resonates with me. I'll just be quiet and just move on. Oh, you on that shit? All right, cool. I'm gonna be over here. But I can't do that with you. Yeah. So we have to work it out. That's not gonna solve anything. So And having to do that, I wasn't used to that. So it's very disruptive for my day, for my mind, like for my life. And so it would make it so I have nothing left after this argument to just deal with my day-to-day shit, like keeping the house organized and clean as it should be, so we could just flow. And that was left to you, because I gotta work. You just drained everything I had to do any of that other stuff. All I got left is enough to go get money. That's it. You gotta do this shit. And that wasn't fair because we wasn't both holding up our ends of the bargain. So that was a big thing too. But I think through the many conversations that we had, and sometimes I would think that it was too many conversations. Like, yo, at a certain point we gotta start talking about it and just be about it. But that was our process, and I mean, that's what we do. That's what we are here for. And it's about communication. It always comes back to communication. And those conversations were necessary, no matter how many times, no matter how many repetitive conversations we had. It was necessary to get to this point now where we can openly talk about it and share with others.
Yeah. And that takes us to, in order to transcend that turmoil phase, you have to, both must look within and be willing to heal as individual units. And this is the most healing and transformative stage. So once you get through this, it's just like, okay, that's when you're able to see in the fullness your twin flame's flaws, like a rap sheet of like, oh, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. This is the traumas, this is the triggers, this is the whatever it is. But also looking at that for yourself, like, oh, these are my flaws. The things that I'm really hating about him that he's doing, I do it twice as bad.
Right.
And having to really look at myself, like talk about that twin flame being a mirror, like really having to look at myself, like, you're ugly. Like, I'm looking at you in the mirror and you're ugly. But there's so many ways that you can be beautiful if you just decided to be.
Yeah.
And that's hard. But I think that's why, as hard and as ugly and as rough as it was, it's almost my favorite phase because we got to hear.
Yeah. And in that phase for me, I was completely just looking at myself. At that point, I completely took any blame from you out of the equation, and I was really looking at myself in the mirror. And that's when I started really asking those questions, like, why can I still not in year 3 get over this shit? And it forced me to look at myself and put it all out there and realize, no, I'm insecure. I'm jealous of that version of myself that I didn't have, and was maybe worried that I wouldn't have for some weird reason. It was like I couldn't have it because I was on my own personal journey and development and really being my most empowered, fully thriving, fully actualized, fully sexualized, fully confident self. And I realized, oh, I wasn't confident. Oh, there was still some insecurities in there. Oh, there was still some lack of belief in how amazing of a human being I am at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It was still questioning that and not living in my power. So by looking at that and say, no, it's not her. You don't believe you can be that. Or you still feel bad about when it wasn't your truth. All of that shit.
No, I get that.
So when we got to this phase, I wasn't looking at you at all. I was looking at myself, and it forced myself to face all the bullshit that I still had there. Like, nah, this is all fake. This is all illusions.
Yeah.
I'm capable of all of this. We're doing it right now. We've lived a great life
Thus far
over these last 3 years. There's been so many amazing moments even though we talk about all these challenges, they're still filled with so much beauty, so much power, so much confidence, so much love. And so yeah, that's what brings me to where I am now with you today in this.
And that brings us to the phase of surrender. And I think this is where we're at right now. just like full surrendering. This is eventually issues are resolved in your relationship and their space of acceptance and openness is established. You're successfully healed your individual past traumas that are stopping you from being present within this love. You invest in good communication skills. This is the way you can heal together. You fully release the pain that blocked the twin flame connection. Trauma releases aren't as easily triggered, and you have a fresh start. It's a chance to redefine your roles within each other's lives, and only happens if both parties go through individual healing phase. Must let go of expectations and attachments which triggered the turmoil phase in the first place.
1000%. That's exactly what it is. I got to the point where after continuing to show up over and over and over again, after dealing with so much stress, so much anger, so much frustration, so much annoyance with you and this relationship and losing myself, I lost myself
in
this because I focused so much on trying to fix us. I had nothing left for myself to just continue to grow and thrive and enjoy myself. I lost it completely. Still, after going through all of that and pulling myself out enough so I can just get a basic hold on myself, I still wanted us so much. I still loved us so much. And I still couldn't envision my life without you. And I was like, all right. Normally I'd have been gone.
Yeah.
I don't care how good your pussy is. I don't care. I don't care. I would have been gone.
And it's great.
It's amazing. And that was not enough to keep me putting up with the things that I had to put up with. And I'm sure on your end as well.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure. So I knew, I'm like, nah, this is real. I really fucking love you. I really do. I do. So let's just figure this out. Let's stop. Let's just figure it out. So because we're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Let's just figure this out.
I used to say that too. Like, I don't know where you think I'm going. Like, you can try to break up. Like, that'll be cute. Like, I'm gonna show up tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
and I just want to say, this is not some delusional, toxic. Y'all should probably break up, but because y'all just in love, you keep on going. Nah, this is real. This is real. This is people doing the work that's necessary so you can get through the other side where you should be.
Yeah, and I think that's why I really love this. I love the word surrender. I feel like that's just the phase of my life that I'm in, just as a whole, of just letting go of just controlling others, letting go of trying to control a situation. Because there's so much control that I was seeking. Like, losing your parents so young, not to bring the orphan card, but losing your parents so young, it's like you're trying to control someone's cancer stages. You're trying to control their pain. You're trying to control their ease and their happiness and just the little moments that they have left in their life. And it's a lot. And it's a lot more with a 19-year-old. And on top of all that shit, I had a very dramatic and traumatic relationship with an older sister that was just, she was a fucking bully. So it's like, and on top of that, I was also sick, like to the point where I wasn't walking for months at a time. I missed months of school. So it's just like all this shit is happening. And it's like having to surrender that. Like, I had to let go of that. Like, that's my past. That happened. It sucked. But it happened, and I don't have to still live in those fears and those needs to gain control. And being with you and having this DS dynamic, it really, and what surrender and what submission really looked like for me was I had to trust your mind. And I had so many people in my life, so many adults in my life that I could not trust their mind. I could not trust their sanity. I could not trust their decision making for a plethora of reasons. And I had to have control. And if I didn't, shit would go far left. And it has. And when I gain control, it'd be fine. So you asking me to release that is just like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, who knows better than me?
Right.
Because I've like, not to be dramatic, but I've saved lives, literally, with decisions that I've made. I've changed lives with decisions that I made. And that's too much for a 19-year-old to hold on their shoulders. But that's what I had to hold. So fully surrendering and realizing I am safe. I am safe. And I trust the way you think. I can fully let go. Like, this happened very recently for me, where it's like, oh, I'm good. Like, I don't have to think for him. He's not going to miss this detail. He's not going to forget this important thing. He's not going to forget this important appointment or this important date or whatever it is. Like, I'm good. And that was this awakening for me, where it's just like, oh, I can just be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't have to worry about shit. I don't have to worry about my bills. I don't have to worry about anything. I could just, like, be. I've never experienced that. I always had to be something for somebody. And you were asking me to just be myself. And in being myself, I can fully let go to be this woman for you. And that's a tall order.
It's a tall order.
It's a tall order to be able to let go and be free. Freedom is hard. It's harder than people think. And you were offering me freedom, and I didn't believe you at first.
Understandably.
Yeah.
And for me, I guess my surrender was me surrendering the insecure little boy of my past. The insecure, not scared, but just the little boy that didn't believe in himself because of where he came from, because of his upbringing and the tools he did or did not have, because of his environment. And I didn't have an environment that forced me to thrive and like show up in a real way. I was in a bubble. Life was comfortable. My parents took care of things. I didn't have to shine. I didn't have to show up in a major way. I didn't have to lead. I could just flow and be fine and comfortable, amongst everybody else. So life never challenged me enough to show I am a leader. I am capable of being great. What's inside here? There was nothing that helped that part of me emerge. Though he was in there the whole time, he always could see, but there was nothing calling for his greatness to shine. So I just kind of stayed there for a while. I didn't let my light shine. So it wasn't until maybe a few years before being with you where I even saw what was even possible, but I was in a shitty relationship that still stifled that growth. So I saw it. Now I see it. Now I'm trying. Yeah. Now I'm actively trying to activate him. But because I'm in this relationship that's stifling me and smothering that power, I can't even activate on it, but it's here. So it wasn't until I got with you, and now I'm equipped. I have the knowledge. I have the belief in myself. And you were like that final thing that brought it all the way out, because now I have a reason. Now I have a purpose. Now I have somebody else outside of me other than my son, but he was attached to that situation. So it still was clouded in that. But now I have someone with this clean slate who I love so deeply that inspires me to live in that power and that greatness that I knew I have inside me, and who needs me. Yeah. Who needs me. And I want to be that leader for her. And so I was able to finally put that last piece of the puzzle together and show to myself, like, yes, I'm fully capable of taking care of myself. I'm fully capable of taking care of my son, and I'm fully capable of taking care of my woman, for real though, actually. And other people. Yeah. And others. And I can lead others now. And so that was a surrender I had in surrendering that part and fully immersing myself into my power. So thank you for trusting me and allowing me to be who I was meant to be.
And thank you for being worthy enough.
Absolutely.
God damn, I can't wait to finish this so we can fuck.
Word.
So the last stage for this 8 stages of the twin flame journey is the oneness stage. The oneness stage is the essence of the twin flame journey. It's the whole goddamn point. In this stage, the twin flames experience little to no conflict and return to blissful paradise. The union occurs when twin flames are integrated into one. Together, you're able to create, manifest, and vibrate at a very high level. When twin flames are united with the same purpose, they become unstoppable.
And I think we are just ascending into that place now. Yes. So I am so excited to experience that with you. I'm so excited for y'all to experience that with us, and for us all to just grow in this. And let's see what this looks like 6 months from now, a year from now. What is BSOTB gonna look like a year from now? Because we said it before, this podcast and BSOTB as a whole, because both sides of the bed is this podcast, but it's so much more. We have so many things to come, and this is our baby, and this is really a representation of our relationship outside of ourselves. So when this is thriving, know that we're thriving.
Yeah.
When this is struggling, clearly you know that we're struggling. So
and that's okay.
I'm really excited in the place that we are right now. I think we have truly made a real breakthrough this time. I don't anticipate any large gaps in recording anymore.
Yeah, I missed y'all. I genuinely missed y'all. And it's really having this audience, having you all really made me grow up. It really made me grow up and realize, what do I want to do? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to be for these people? Do I want to be something for other people? And realizing, yes, I do. So thank you for that. I feel like I'm really ascending into my divine feminine woman.
Yeah. This is bigger than us now.
Yeah.
This is beyond us now. And because this is real, powerful, meaningful work that people are actually getting benefit from, there's no way that I could leave this and leave people hanging.
Yeah.
People are really checking for us now.
If I get another DM asking if we're still together, I get so many DMs asking if we're still together. Yes, we're still together. We're still in love. We're fine. We're just working through it.
We're working through it.
Yeah.
And we won't be perfect. There may be a few weeks where you may not hear from us. Just know we doing the work, and we will be right back soon with updates and more to share with y'all. And I just want to take this time before we close out to just talk about how much this has grown and how the vision for this has expanded so much more, and how much this is really a community. I know people talk about that all the time. It's one of those buzzwords, the movements and in the community and all that. But for real, we need y'all. We can only do but so much on this side. We want to connect with y'all. We want to know what's going on in y'all life. We want to know what y'all need. We want to know how we can support you. We want to answer any questions. We want to be able to share more experiences. We want to spark thoughts. We want to inspire y'all to live in your truth, to live in your fullest, fulfilled selves. So in order to do that, we got to connect. So please continue to comment, to share these episodes with people, to just help us grow this in that way. But also, we about to expand this thing. We're adding Patreon. We're going to have extended content because there's a lot more workshop-y style things that we can do.
Yeah.
This is just the conversation part, but there's so much work that we can do, and there's so many beautiful places that you're taking your clients on a personal level that I can't wait to share with you and to share with the masses of people, because there's real work that we can be doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to start that on Patreon. Check all of that out for additional exclusive content, extended clips from our episodes when we run off too long and we got more stuff to say, probably like this one here. But also, we're going to be doing live workshops. We want to meet y'all in person. We want y'all to come connect with us here in New York, or we might be at a city near you. Let us know where you at. Let us know what you need. In addition to that, we're going to have the Discord because we want to keep the conversation going when we can't chop it up in here. So connect with us on our Discord. Also, we're going to have all the chats, all the topics. We want to just talk to y'all.
Yeah.
Just that. That's it.
And all the information will be in the episode description. And if you want to ask questions, ask advice, share your unsolicited advice about our relationship, you can email us at share@bothsidesofthebed.tv. Again, that email will also be in our episode description.
Yeah, I can't wait to that. I can't wait to.
I'm excited for that. I want to hear what y'all have to say.
We're going to get some crazy shit. You know we're going to get some.
Absolutely. Share.
And also, we're going to be hopping on Instagram lives. We want to just be live with y'all and answer questions and just talk. We just want to talk. We got so much to talk about.
Yeah.
So make sure you check in on Instagram. See when we going to hop on our lives. Can't wait to meet y'all.
Yes, and if you want to talk more specifically about taking your journey to the next level and you want to do some coaching with me, you are so welcome to do so. I'm so excited to do it with you. You can check me out at be-intimate.com. That will also be in our episode description. Also, the link is in our bio. And something that's really exciting that I'm expanding my business to do is coaching with you.
Yes.
So if you want to get both the masculine and feminine perspectives from A and B, you can get coaching from the two of us and get both our perspectives on what your situation is, how you can bring yourself to the next level, how you can bring your relationship to the next level, how you can bring your sex to the next level, which is of course his favorite part.
Yeah.
So let us know, hit us up, and we're so welcome and exciting.
Yes.
Excited.
Yes. So ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Season 2. This is just the beginning.
Full throttle.
So thank you for coming in and checking us out. Until next time, stay tuned for the sexy.
Stay tuned for the sexy.